I just got done watching He Got Game. I ain't seen that movie in a while, yo. This shit crazy. No, it's November 20th, 2025, and it's 5:36 p.m. Yep, 5:36 p.m. The first thing I thought about when I just watched this movie, He Got Game with Denzel Washington and Ray Allen. I remember it was this dude in my fourth grade class named Darius, yo. And he used to always eat his boogers, yo. And I always kept it to myself. He used to always eat his boogers, yo. And what was so crazy is I used to always try to get everybody in class to see this shit. Mainly, specifically, it was a friend of mine named Shamar and William and Jason and Gerard. And I used to be like, yo, that nigga be eating his boogers. Y'all don't be peeping that shit. You know what I'm saying? And nobody ever saw that shit, yo. Nobody ever peeped. I used to be the only one I used to be mad because I used to be like, yo, y'all think I'm tripping. I'm not lying. That nigga really be doing that shit. And then one day, I remember he grabbed like a big blob up. I was like, look, he doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I think the only person that saw that, the only other person that saw that was my sister one time and Shamar Williams. So one day, me and Shamar, we in the lunchroom, we playing BB Butcher and SS Strawberry. You know what I'm saying? That's when you basically like, if you say something that start with a B or S, you gotta hit them. And then we also play open chest. Open chest was basically like if you ever get caught with your chest open, they hit you in the chest. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, that nigga be hit. I was like, dog, that nigga be eating his burgers. I'm glad that you peeped that shit. I said something like that. And then, because this dude named Darius was in the lunchroom with us. This one we was going to St. Christine and Gemma. I think this was the 5th grade. I'm not certain, though. It was either 4th grade or the 5th grade. And Shamar just hit that nigga. He wasn't even playing with us. Shamar just hit him. And when I realized when nobody was looking, he had wiped the tear away from his eye, and I feel real bad for that shit. And I never again said anything about him eating his boogers because I was like, damn, it wasn't the fact that he was crying, it was the fact that he was like hiding that shit. So when I saw that, I was like, dang, dog, I feel bad. I was like, hey, my bad, man. Like I ain't never say he ate boogers again after that. Speaking of St. Gemma, yo, it was this dude named Jordan that also was in our class. I think he came into that school, and I don't know if it was the 4th grade or the 5th grade, but I remember one time we had all got in trouble for like playing around in the bathroom, and I think he was doing like backflips off of a sink or something like that. He did a backwards flip or some shit like that. I think he did karate or something like that. I remember him telling us something like he did karate. I think he had family members that was like police officers or sergeants in the army or something like that. It was something like that. I remember this dude named Jordan. I remember one time my sister Keisha friend, her childhood friend Takese, she told us a story about one time about how her and this dude named DeMarco was on the back of the bus, and she basically said something like it ain't in yet or something like that. You know what I'm saying? DeMarco had a brother named Darius and also had a brother named Dijon. But that Darius, that specific Darius that I'm talking about that was eating his boogers, that wasn't the same Darius. DeMarco was in the same grade as Keisha and Takese. Darius was Keisha and Takese was in the 6th grade. Darius, I think, was in the 5th grade. And then I think Dijon was in the 4th grade. You know what I'm saying? So then by the time we went to the 5th grade the next year, Keisha and Takese was in the 7th grade, along with DeMarco. Dijon was in the 5th grade, and Darius was in the 6th grade. Dijon had got suspended for like bringing a big ass knife to school to St. Christina Gemma one time, yo. They called the police on him and everything. He said that it was his grandfather's or something. It was like an antique. And I think it was either this girl named Ashley Reinhardt that told on him, this dude named Tyrone that told on him, or this girl named Princess that told on him. One of them had like told on him or some shit like that. And the police came up there, and I remember talking to Shamar about it, like, man, this some bullshit, man. They done like told on this nigga, like this nigga, like he wasn't even trying to hurt nobody. He was just showing it. They was just showing that shit off. But I did speak 2 years ago in 2023 about one time how everybody was coming down hard on a childhood friend of mine named William Haygood, yo. And I remember just being in like music class because we used to go to something called Pearson, a area called Pearson on every Thursday. We used to always have to wear blue when we went to Pearson. That was like the colors. Everybody had to wear blue because we went there for gym class, music class, and also art class. I don't remember the gym teacher and the music teacher name, but I remember the art teacher name. I think her name was Miss Farkas. And I remember William used to call her Miss Fatso, yo. I don't know how this shit coming back to mind. But that was how Um, that's how Takees was telling that story basically about how they was on the bus one day or something like that. Every Thursday we went to this place called Pearson. Another thing, I remember Shamar Williams and this dude named Don Quez got into a fight. They was fighting like in the gym on like a stage area. And this nigga William had jumped in that shit. I remember that shit. And I remember I used to fuck with Shamar like, hey, nigga, you took an L, nigga. Don Quez whooped your ass, nigga. And he was like, man, whatever, it's a tie. But this is back in like 4th to 5th grade, yo. Man, I was like in my sleep yesterday, and I heard somebody crying saying I really love you, and they was like mumbling and stuff like that. Man, look, I believe my family has possibly like something bad happened, and they've been cloned and stuff. Wherever they at, I've been praying that God keep them safe, healthy, and alive. It's that simple, yo. I'm part of the 144,000 Israelites or prophets for God. A lot of people gonna say he crazy, whatever. People will try to say that to cover up whatever is going on. I'm gonna just say that because, man, I'm gonna find out though. Like I can't. I'm gonna do what God tell me to do. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also thinking about one time when there was this dude named Jeff at the basketball court, right? It was this dude named Nuki. This dude named Nuki used to always, every time the older niggas start hooping, Nuki would basically tell them to get off the court, and if they didn't listen the first time, that nigga would kick their basketball on the top roof of Peter Vital middle school. You know what I'm saying? That school set up high as fuck. So it wasn't getting your ball back if somebody kicked your ball up on that top roof. You know what I'm saying? So one day, this nigga Jeff on the court, this is back in like 05. 05 or 06. I think this was 06. I think this was around like the spring or the summertime of 06. Because Jeff started cussing out Nuki. And Nuki was like, at first Nuki was arguing back and forth with him because he basically took Jeff ball and kicked that motherfucker on the top roof. And Nuki was like, I'm a role model around here, though. He was like, then Jeff started basically like G-checking him, like, nigga, you ever popped a nigga around here? Nigga, you ever put work in? Whatever. He was like, no, but I steer kids in the right direction. I steer teenagers in the right direction. And he's like, how the fuck you do that, nigga? You kicking niggas basketballs on the top of the roof? Make a long story short, Jeff said, nigga, fuck around, get his head chopped off. You know what I'm saying? He was basically talking about him getting shot, because back in the day, that's how people, like, he was basically talking about him getting hit with a chopper. And that nigga Nuki dropped everything that he was doing, and he had a whole bunch of little homies at the court that was looking at Jeff. Like, I mean, they all knew who his family members was, but they was getting to the point where they was getting mad and getting agitated, and they started kind of sort of like easing up, like, hold on, man, who's this nigga? And Nuki like, man, this a kid, man, let that nigga talk, bro. But when Jeff said nigga, you were fucking around and get chopped up, nigga's like, hold on, man, this a kid telling me I'm gonna get chopped up, and he grabbed that nigga Jeff by his neck and threw him. You know what I'm saying? And Jeff like fell. Jeff's bike was like right behind him, and when he threw him, he tripped over his bike and fell. And Jeff family members was out there. Yo, ain't nobody do nothing. No, they just looked at him like, hey, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Willie was out there. His two sisters was out there. I remember this. And then it got diffused because everybody started playing dodgeball and shit. So niggas got the boxing and like playing manhunt. Because it used to be a dude that used to pull up over there and sell fireworks. So when everybody started shooting fireworks at each other and throwing the basketball at each other and fighting with each other, that shit kind of got diffused because everybody just started having fun and shit. I remember one time this nigga White Boy Kevin was roasting on this dude named Marche back in the day. We used to call him Shay Shay when he was a kid. And it was the summer. I think he had something messed up that happened. He had like got wingworm or something like that in his head. And White Boy Kevin was roasting on him like this is this right here. This like he was basically like trying to roast on his head, you know what I'm saying? Trying to compare it with like the weather and stuff. And I remember he walked away. Marche walked away mad as hell. And then White Boy Kevin was saying something like, yeah, it's gonna be partly cloudy tonight or something like that. Niggas is laughing, and then Nuga's like, man, it ain't gonna be partly cloudy. It's gonna be a thunderstorm. And then everybody started laughing even more. But that nigga Mike Moms got mad and came to the court ready to fight, yo. And this was around the time, I still remember Mike had Mike was the older brother. He had a sister named Melisha. Then he had a sister named Melisha. Then he had two brothers named Marche and Mumu, or Shay Shay and Mumu, or Marquise and Marche. You know what I'm saying? But we used to call him Mumu back in the day. And they mom had a real close friend. She had like a best friend or something that used to stay around there that stayed on Westwood, and her friend had a son named Chucky, yo. But it wasn't the Chuck that like had it wasn't the Chuck that I was talking about earlier who had lost his life in '06. It was another dude named Chucky. I remember my sister Keisha used to like crack jokes about that dude to say he used to look like this dude called Waldo Fardo or some shit like that, because on that one TV show Family Matters, it was this one dude that was like a close friend to this to the guy named Eddie Winslow, I think. And he used to have a friend like Waldo from Mardo, something like that. And Keisha used to, every time he used to come around, Keisha used to call that nigga that shit. We used to bust out laughing about that shit. But it was one summer, they got into it. They kind of fell out. And everybody was telling Mike to fight, he should fight Chucky or whatever. And then Mike moms came to the court because she found out what white boy Kevin was doing, like making fun of her son and stuff like that. And they end up getting back cool with each other after that. I remember that, yo. They end up getting back cool because when her friend, or the one that she kind of sort of fell out with over something, found out that she was at the court arguing with niggas, she came up to the court like she basically had her back. Like, what the fuck going on? You know what I'm saying? She didn't even care about what they was going through. I still remember all of this. I saw an angelic sight last night. I remember when Marsha and Moo was basically roasting on Jock's sister Jasmine, and they was quoting that one movie from Scary Movie. Something that Marlon Wayans had said or something like that, like talking about putting yourself in the full Nelson and like lick your titties or something like that. And then that whole week, that nigga Jock was roasting O'Shea, yo. I still remember him asking Jesse, like one time we standing outside the house and him asking Jesse, like, what you about to go get from the stove? And Jesse like, I'm about to go get some Sour Patches. You know what I'm saying? They kept calling him like, because that was like a summer he had like wingworm or something like that. And it was a neighbor that stayed next door to them named Miss B. Miss B, it was one summer, I don't know what she was doing. She put something in her grass that like completely made all of her grass go brown, and she had a bunch of patches in her grass. He kept on, I still remember him talking about like his hair looked like Miss B grass and stuff. That was the real reason why like Marsha tried to fight Jock way back in the day. And then Jock basically kind of roughed him up, and then he got jumped by this dude named Mike and Travis and stuff like that. And then this dude named K-Ron like swung on, like hit Travis in the jaw like a week after that. That was the real reason why all of that happened, yo. I just got done watching He Got Game. Yo, man, look, God bless to all them niggas, yo. All the people from my old neighborhood. I ain't trying to make y'all look bad or humiliate anybody in any kind of way, yo. I think I'm about to redo this video, though, because I don't want, like, I'm just fucked up over what's been going on lately. I remember when I was in Tallahassee, this is right before I left and came to Michigan in 2018. I met this one girl. She was dark skinned. She was thick as fuck, yo. I don't remember her name. I think it started with an M, but I'm not certain. She had on, I still remember she had on like some tan pants. She was thick as fuck, yo. And I never had sex with her. She told me she stayed in Monticello. And she told me she be hooping. She told me she a hooper. And I remember talking shit to her like, I don't believe you. I was like, no, you got too much body. I'm like, no, that's some bullshit. You can't hoop. I remember telling her that. And then she was like, she said, I'll leave you my basketball. I'll give you my basketball. And she basically said, I'll get it later. You know what I'm saying? I'm grabbing on her ass and feeling on her and stuff like that at the, I got her number at Walmart, and then I pulled up at the mall after that. And then she hit me up right after I got her number, like, where you at? I'm like, at the mall. She's like, I just saw you. I'm like, oh, shit, pull up. We in the parking lot at the mall in Tallahassee. And shit, that was about, I hugged up on her, kissed on her a little bit. I think I could have had sex, like hugged on her a little bit. Then she left. It's daytime, yo. This is still in the daytime. And then I hit her up a couple more times. She ain't respond. I end up giving that basketball to Cam's son, you know, Lil Cam, you know what I'm saying? I said once before that I feel like God was talking to me about Lil Cam, but every time I thought about the possibility of like having sex with some lady around Cam. I never skidded in some girl around Cam. I never even had sex with some lady around Cam. So I was like, at one point in time, I was like, no, ain't no way. Yo, I kept trying to put things together like, ain't no way. I remember I used to be on this website called Moco Space, yo, and I met this one girl, this dark-skinned chubby chick. She was honestly overweight, you know what I'm saying? And I think this was in the spring of 2011, and I had sex with her over in West Chicago, and it's a couple blocks out. It was like the next street after Schaefer, going toward Wyoming way. And I met her on Moco Space and pulled up on her. We had sex. At first, she wasn't really letting me have sex, and then I started kissing on her neck, and then she just let me like have sex with her. And the condom had broke. Condom actually broke. And when I pulled it out, I actually like I saw like myself, I actually saw my nut like skeeting out and like shooting on her like stomach and her pussy and all of that. And then I thought that I saw that same lady at a party that JR and Teray threw when we went out to a club back in August 2013. But Teray hit her up, and she was like, no, I don't know that nigga. I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, yo, I know you, yo. I had sex with you back in 2011. She was like, no, that wasn't me. She kept telling me that wasn't her. When I was at the Regal Tower Apartments in 2024, it was this light-skinned girl that worked in the leasing office. She had a hat on, and she told me that she had a form of autism. She told me that she got enhanced hearing, meaning if I whispered, she could hear me. And she said she keep a hat on because a lot of stuff be way louder than what it would sound like to other people. You know what I'm saying? She said she got sensitive ears, like she got like advanced hearing. I'm like, yo, that's like a gift from God, Joe. And I told her I got a little cousin that's autistic, you know, this light-skinned chick. And that was it. Like, I think some type of lie got told, though. When I came back to the Regal Tower Apartments in June 2025, I saw that lady one time around that area and never saw her again. Never saw her around a leasing office. It was like she disappeared. She saw me when I first came back, and I ain't see her no more. I ain't know what took place. Back in the day, though, I ain't gonna lie. Like, the main homeboys that I had was like Jock and Dayron. But Mike was cool as fuck, too. Man, look, back in the summertime of 2002, it was Jock, it was Dayron, it was Mike, it was his little brothers, Marche and Mumu, or Marche and Marquise. And it was this dude named Flamont that also stayed next, not too far from Mike. We used to go over there. And I'll never forget this. I had a basketball that my cousin JR had gave me, dog. It was a basketball that was, back in the day, The Rock, the wrestler, The Rock, he used to have a symbol. He used every wrestler had an icon. He had a symbol that was like a blue bull or some shit like that. Man, these whole ass niggas shot my motherfucking cousin, shot my cousin JR basketball with a BB gun in Flamont backyard. I wasn't even around when that happened. I still remember this. JR had a basketball. It was black and blue, and I think it was a ball that represented The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. And one of them shot it with a damn BB gun, dog. Flatten that motherfucker. They said, I still remember coming back. I think I came back from my dad's house or something like that. And it was Flamont. It was this dude named DeWine also that stayed not too far from around there. DeWine used to stay on Granville also, but he stayed closer toward Linden Way. Mike stayed on Granville also, and he stayed closer toward Linden Way. This is back in the summertime of 2002. And Flamont and DeWine and Mike, all of them niggas stayed around that same area, around like Granville and Linden area. You know what I'm saying? Going toward Linden, but on Granville between Linden and Acacia. And Steven stayed on Granville. This dude named Steven back in the day. I remember all of this shit. Matter of fact, DeWine went to Knoxville College with my sister Keisha. When she went off to college in the fall of 2006, DeWine was in Knoxville College on campus with Keisha. My big sister Keisha, yo. So I'm trying to remember where I was even getting at with that shit, yo. But yeah, in the summertime of 02, like we used to all hang out with each other. Like we used to go to this one place called The Trails back in the day. It was like the woods area that was like way back, like it was basically in Brightmo, but it went to Rouge Park. Like you go through an area. We used to go through this gate, and it was like a vacant area over there that nobody was even allowed to be around. You know what I'm saying? And it was times that we got chased by dogs and shit when we went through there. You know what I'm saying? Because we weren't supposed to be there. So it was a private property, but that private property was like a bike trail that went all the way to Rouge Park. Only people that knew about that shit was like, you like the mainly like the kids and shit around like the hood in the area and all of that. Niggas in Brightmo knew about that. The niggas around Schoolcraft knew about that. This is like 02, 03 when we used to ride around on our bikes and shit. Back about that dream I had. This dude was in an old school gray sedan, an old school gray car. And I hit like the side of him. It was like a fender bender. And he hopped out and he was real frantic and he was talking in a panic way like, that's good enough. That's good enough. That's good enough. I ain't trying. All right. I want to end up getting up to some shit. When I end up doing something to somebody with this and that, that's good enough. And looking at his face, yo, it was like his features. It's weird, Joe. It was like, that's the dude. It was this one dude that was around 3rd Street in Vermont. I had a dream about that dude too. And I had a dream this dude was swinging on my motherfucking mama, yo. Right around 3rd Street, not just 3rd Street of Vermont, but also around like the tiny home unit, around 3rd Street of Corona Lane. And every time I used to get on the bus, I'll see that dude just walking around in the like all black. He used to always have on the all black jumpsuit. He used to have on black hoodie and the black sweatpants. And I used to be wondering, like, it seemed like every time I'm on the bus, I'll be seeing this dude, Joe. So I had a dream. This dude was like swinging on my mom's, and I didn't know this dude, nothing like that. But one time I was getting on the bus on 3rd Street of Vermont, leaving from the Ralph's grocery store. And you know how you get on the bus? It's two ways you can get on the bus. It's the door that's in the middle, and it's the door that's on the end. As soon as I got up on the bus from the door that's in the middle, the bus driver closed that motherfucker on purpose. Like, he purposely closed it. And then the dude walked to the front and was like, hey, like, why? He was like, why you close the door? You know what I'm saying? He was going off on that dude. So still to this day, I think that bus driver was closing that on purpose because that bus driver was aware of something that I wasn't aware of. And he was probably like watching over me like by doing that. Because he closed, as soon as I got on the bus, he closed it. Like, he closed it immediately. But I used to see that dude around and I just look at him like, you know what I'm saying? But after that happened, it made me more like suspicious and skeptical. Like, why did the bus driver do that? I was wondering that. So I had a dream that it was like that same gray car, and I had made a mistake and hit it, and this car was driving through a parking lot, and then it jumped out. I was like, that's good enough. That's good enough. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't trying to end up hurting somebody or stabbing somebody. I'm being more specific this time. He was like, yeah, that's good enough. I'm out of it. And he was talking all fast and frantically, but I swear sometimes it's like, I can't really explain it. When I have dreams, when I be actually in the dream, it's kind of sort of like I can comprehend the dream better when I'm actually in that dream. And then I wake up and it's like, it'll register differently to me when I wake up. But when I be in a dream, it's like I can understand 1,000 words in a dream. You know what I'm saying? But then when I get up, I got to think about it again. It's weird. I can't really explain it. But that same dude that was in the car, I was like, yo, I like that same dude around 3rd Street. But it was also these dudes that worked at Walmart distribution center. And I could tell that they was the cousins and the brothers of this one girl. This real skinny little short girl. I think that was the girl that broke in my car. And he also looked like them, but I never seen that guy before. I was like, how do I put it? In that dream, I saw that dude. You know what I'm saying? But let me correct that. I never saw that dude around the Walmart distribution center when I was working at the Walmart distribution center in Ridgeville, South Carolina in 2022. You know what I'm saying? From March 2022 to January 2023. I never but he just looked like it looked like his face resembled theirs. So I just be trying to figure stuff out, yo. And he just hopped out like, yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough. He was talking all frantically and shit. And I was just like, but yeah, yo, the first thing came to my mind when I started watching the movie He Got Game, I was like, dang, yo, because some just told me to watch it. And the dude, Jesus Shuttleworth, he got a cousin named Booger. And I just thought about, it was this dude named Darius back in the day, yo, that used to go to St. Christine and Gemma. He used to eat his boogers, yo. And Alicia called me up in January 2009. It was like, hey, Jerry, remember that kid that used to be eating his boogers? He's still kind of weird. He sent me a friend request on Facebook. She said, this is in January 2009. This is when we was 19, yo. This was right after Alicia left and went back to FAMU. And I'm like, yeah, I remember him. And the first thing I thought about was how I used to always be trying to tell people that, yo, we be eating his burgers, because at first it wasn't like I was hating on the nigga, but it was the fact that everybody thought that I was lying. So then once you realize that everybody think you lying about something, you start pushing for the truth. So I kept saying, no, I'm not lying. That nigga be eating his boogers. I be catching that shit, but he be doing it so fast, don't nobody catch him. And then one day I think Shamar had caught him. Shamar Williams, that was like one of my main homeboys back in 4th grade and 5th grade in elementary school. We was going to St. Christina Gemma. And fast forward, one day me and this nigga Shamar, we either playing Bloody Knuckles or BB Butcher or SS Strawberry. We playing open chess, or we just boxing. We doing something in the lunchroom. Yo, we used to always be hitting each other back and forth and shit like that. And this nigga Shamar hit Darius. You know what I'm saying? He was, at this time, he was new. So whenever, all I know was it was like his first month being at that school or something like that. And when wasn't nobody looking, I saw him wipe a tear from his face. And I was like, oh, man, that's fucked up. Yo. I was like, man, chill out, bro. Like, because it was the fact that he was hiding it that made me feel bad. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time me and Shamar was about to fight for real because I was playing with this nigga and he had some Kool-Aid and I hit some Kool-Aid and that shit like flew in his face, or I think it was some sugar or something. That shit hit him in the face. I didn't mean for the shit to fly in his face. And that shit burned his eyes and he jumped up. Like, I remember this nigga grabbed my chair and like pulled my chair out and I fell and I got up trying to, like, we ain't fight though. We was just like squared up, but we ain't fight. But also, I also thought about this dude named Jordan that was doing flips in the bathroom, yo, back in the day. Man, they used to have a thing called JUG, Judgment Under God. My teacher, Miss Siskey, was my 5th grade teacher at St. Christina Gemma. My teacher, Miss Louise, was my 4th grade teacher at St. Christina Gemma. Man, look, every single Friday we watched the movie. Around when it's about 2 hours left of school, of class or whatever, everybody used to go to Miss Louise's room, mainly specifically her room, and then they'll roll that TV out on the thing, and all the kids will watch whatever, you know, we was watching for that day. Man, I used to be in Jug every single Friday. I think I can count on one hand how many times I was not in Jug. Miss Siskey nicknamed that place Jug. It was called JUG, Judgment Under God, Joe. But like I said before, now that I'm older, I think Miss Siskey she just enjoyed my company because I was a class clown. So I forgot. So yeah, Miss Siskey, I think she used to just enjoy my company, yo, because I was a class clown like a motherfucker. Like, I used to get that lady a run for her money, yo. One time everybody was supposed to go on a school trip to the circus. And I remember my teacher, Miss Siskey, telling me, hey, Alvin, if you were an angel of wings, you're not going on that trip. And everybody went on a trip, and my dad came and got me a ticket to go on that circus trip. No, I rode with him. I rode with my dad to the circus. I didn't get on the bus like with everybody else. My teacher, Miss Louise, told everybody on the school bus, okay, y'all, we all agreed to do not tell Miss Siskey that AJ was on a trip. As soon as they got back to St. Christina Gemma, Gerard told Miss Siskey Alvin was on a trip. Alvin came to the trip. Alvin came to the circus. I think Gerard was the same when it snitched on D. John, dog. It was this dude that we was cool with back in the day named D. John. Also, he brought a big ass knife to school one day. He said it was his granddad's. It was like an antique. And I remember like, hey, Shamar, look, that bitch out cold. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Because it was a cool knife. We ain't look at it like it was like an act of violence. It was a cool knife. It was some type of a Native American knife or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I think his family had Native American descent in their family or some shit like that. Man, dog, a lot of the younger niggas that grew up in our old neighborhood, they don't remember me for being some scandalous ass nigga or some nigga that was some killer or some shit like that. They remember mostly, you know, when they mom was around and stuff like that. It's some niggas that lived in my old neighborhood. Some of these niggas got family members that's dead now, yo. So when they see me, they probably remember one time when I made their mama bust out laughing because I did some silly shit. Or they probably remember just a time when a family member of theirs was still alive, and then they look at me and they laugh. Niggas in my old neighborhood used to call me Waldo back in the day, because this one dude named Martell gave me the nickname Where's Waldo back when I was like 11 years old, because I had some big ass glasses, and he used to tell me I looked like the Where's Waldo character on the books. You know what I'm saying? So I went through one summer and everybody kept calling me Waldo. That shit was making me mad as hell. I made a statement before and I said I ain't never like paid for pussy, as far as when some lady came to my apartment. You know what I'm saying? I gave some lady, I basically gave some lady gas money before. I put gas in a couple of these ladies' cars before, back in the day when I had my own shit. But as far as going in my pocket and saying, here you go, thanks for the pussy, I never done that. I've done that when I was out and about driving, and I probably picked up some lady that was a prostitute. But I think women tried to actually mix up my life with the shit that I did when I was just feeling like, hey, I just want to do something different, something new, and I picked up some prostitute or some shit like that, and then they tried to make it look like that I was some motherfucking nationwide tricking ass nigga or something like that, yo. And also said that I never upped the gun on any of these ladies. I haven't. But it was a time back in 2003, these girls had ran inside my mom's house and jumped on my sister Keisha while she was in the house. It started because Keisha had this friend named Morris. Morris was roasting on this girl. That was the cousin of this dude named Andy, and Andy had a sister named Angelique, and they had two little cousins. And this is back when everybody was wearing them jean outfits, you know, the jeans with the matching jacket. And this girl had on some red pants and a red jacket. And Keisha's friend Morris said that she looked like the Kool-Aid Man, and Keisha was cracking up. So they came back trying to fight Alicia, my twin sister. Alicia ain't do shit. You know what I'm saying? They just saw Alicia like, I vividly remember the one girl saying, where that light-skinned bitch at? Tell that light-skinned bitch come outside because I'm going to beat her ass. So they tried to jump my sister, and I remember hearing it going on, and Alicia yelling out, they jumping her. And I remember hearing a nigga yelling, hearing a dude yelling, hey, y'all, come over here. It's a fight going on. Come over here. Y'all can come in here. Y'all can run up in here. So in my mind, I'm hearing some dude yelling out, y'all can come in here. I'm hearing niggas at the court, like, what, for real? Or niggas that's running. I'm hearing niggas like not all the way in the court, but there's some people like on the street in the area saying that. And I'm hearing some dude yelling, and my sister saying they jumping her. So it's not just some female type shit. So I grabbed a gun. It was some guns upstairs in the attic. I grabbed the gun, came downstairs, and they took off running. When the girls ran up out of the house, my sister fought this girl named Angelique. When I came downstairs, my sister was basically piecing them up. But my sister fought this girl named Angelique, yo. And also, like when I looked outside, I saw it was actually niggas like outside, yo. Like some niggas that ran from the court area came outside and all of that. My mom told me when because Alicia called my mom around the time when it was happening. My mom told me, because after that, right? My mom came back to the house. She was on her way to work. She turned around and came back. My mom after the fight that happened, they uncle had pulled up in front of the house. You know what I'm saying? They had an uncle. My mom told me the way that dude got out that car, if I wasn't here, if it wasn't an adult here, a fight would have happened again. Because the way he hopped out like he was about to try to walk in that house. Because he was basically mad about how his niece looked. He was like, who did this to my niece's face? You know what I'm saying? That same dude cut my hair, the same exact, cut my hair right before I went off to prom, yo. He used to cut hair on Grand River around Lasher area. I never told him that I remembered him, but I remembered him. You know what I'm saying? He had cut my hair, and he told me a story about how he also went off to prom. He had a Bentley coupe, and he got pulled over by the police, and they took him to jail on his prom night. Told me he had a Bentley coupe. He had a drop-top coupe. I remember all of this, yo. And he dropped me off on Evergreen and Linden, yo. This is like a couple days before prom. And also, it was also this dude named Rudy in there that had got his hair cut. Rudy went to Southfield Regional Academic Campus also. But he asked me, I remember Rudy asked me, you going to Southfield Lathrop prom or you going to Southfield High prom? I'm going to Southfield Lathrop prom. And I think Rudy, I don't remember, dog. I don't know if he went to Southfield Lathrop prom or Southfield High prom. So, yeah, like, in that kind of situation, I pulled up my gun before on some ladies. Because, first of all, like, you jumping on my sister. Second of all, you in my motherfucking mom's house. You know what I'm saying? This when I was 13 years old. I was either 12 or 13. And then after that, my sister tried to fight her again, like, the week later. because it was a rumor going around the neighborhood that that girl was 18 that jumped on my sister. At the time, I was 13. My sister Keisha was 14. I was either 12 or 13. Keisha was 14. Shit, yo. Yeah, Keisha was 14. So my mom found out that that girl was like 18 or 19. My mom said, if you 18, you a grown woman, you can fight me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because my mom she was pissed about that. She was pissed about my sister getting jumped in her house. And then she was also pissed about like the possibility of that girl being 18. But then that come to find out that girl was like 16 or something like that. I think she said she was 16. But her uncle pulled up again and basically said, like, I'm getting the heat. Next time I hear something about my niece or something, I'm getting the gun. I'm coming over here and I'm killing y'all. He said that shit. But back about that girl who I met in Tallahassee. I met her at the Walmart Supercenter in the parking lot. She was thick as fuck, yo. Dark-skinned chick. She was probably like 5'6", 5'7". Like, I remember I looked at her and I said, my name is not Alvin Bredman Jr. if I don't hit that. But I ended up not hitting it, yo, because I ended up leaving and going to Michigan after that. You know what I'm saying? And I text back and forth with her, but I never get her. I think I cussed her out. I probably cussed her out later on. I think her name, I don't want to like keep on saying it. I think her name was I don't remember that girl name, yo. She gave me a basketball. Then when I came and visited Cam, when I came and visited everybody I knew in Detroit in the summer of 2018, when I left Tallahassee in like July of 2018, I came back to Detroit for like 2.5 months. And I hung out with niggas around Schoolcraft, Finkel. I hung out with Cam. I hung out with a few other people. And I remember taking that basketball because she told me, she was like, you'll see I can hoop. She was like, I'm telling you I can hoop. You'll see. And she said she gonna leave her basketball in the car. She left her basketball in the car. But every time I hit her up, she like, I don't know. Like something happened. Like something happened down the line. Somebody, I already know that girl probably looked me up online. And then some niggas probably started talking shit about me. Either that was in Fort Myers or probably around Detroit area. Started making me look bad and shit. Because she was talking about basically like giving me some pussy right there in the middle of the parking lot of the mall. Because after I got her number, I pulled up at the car wash after that. Then after I left the car wash, I went to the mall. She told me that she saw me at the car wash. I'm like, what up? You want to meet up somewhere? Then we pulled up at the mall. It's a mall that's right around the corner. It was off of Appalachia Street or something like that. Not too far from where I got her number at the Walmart in the parking lot. And then she basically left her basketball in the car. You know, this when I was in that 2018 all-white Charger RT, yo. And I'm like, I was sending her text messages like, yeah, I'm gonna see you when I get back around the way and this and that and this and that. But she wasn't fucking with it. Like she completely switched up. She went from I'm not exaggerating, yo. I'm grabbing on this girl ass. I got my hands all in her pants and stuff like that. I'm kissing on her. And she told me she went to FAMU. She drove off. And I never messed with her again. And I ended up giving that basketball to Lil Cam, yo. I left that basketball for him. I came through. I said I had a basketball in my trunk. I was sitting up that girl. She wasn't saying nothing. I gave it to Lil Cam, and that was it. I forgot her name, though. Like, she hugging up on me and stuff. She told me she stayed around Monticello. And she was talking about going to hang out, like, at some bar and grill with her homegirls later on that night or something like that. But she stayed in Monticello. Monticello got a lot of motherfucking history, yo. I drove through Monticello one day. This is when I first drove to Tallahassee, when I left Fort Myers on the 27th of June of 2018, after my guns got stolen up out of my car. I'm driving around Monticello on an empty tank. I'm praying that my car don't run out of gas because I said, fuck it, I'll just wait till I get to the next exit. And then I fuck around and found out that it was a lot more exits. It wasn't, I fuck around and found out I had to drive for like another, like 20 miles to get to an exit or some shit like that. It was a lot of miles, I know that. So I pulled up in Monticello like, fuck that. I GPS gas stations. Every single gas station in Monticello was completely closed. And this is around like 7 p.m., yo. I drove around for a whole hour looking for a gas station, and then I just jumped back on the highway. But back in the day, in that city, Monticello, that small town, it used to be a real big tree in that town that people used to get hung from. People used to get killed. You know what I'm saying? They used to basically tell everybody that they didn't have to go to work that day. And they would hang black people from this big ass tree that was in the town of Monticello, yo. They would hang black people, yo. They'd hang you. And they would basically tell everybody in town, take off work. You know what I'm saying? Take off your job, take off work, whatever. We're going to hang some niggas today. You know what I'm saying? But this is back in them racist days. So even though that day is over, that day is dead now, as far as like, you know, racist people feel like they can do that kind of stuff and get away with it, you know, even though all those laws and stuff of you know, white supremacy is over, they still closed down that whole town on every specific day. I think it was every, I don't know which day it is, or it's every, I think it was, I think, I don't know. I just remember it was that one day when I was driving through that town, and I remember getting to Tallahassee talking to Keisha about it. And I'm like, yo, I was in this one town, every damn thing was shut down. And she was like, Monticello? I'm like, yeah, how you know? She said that it used to be a law that everybody did not go to work that day. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got the free day off. They had a free day off, and then they would basically go around like this big ass tree and hang people. Even though that don't happen no more, they still follow the same exact free day, you know, work schedule and stuff like that on a certain day. That shit was crazy, yo. Man, look, no disrespect to anybody. I ain't trying to make people look bad or humiliate people. When it come to like Marshe and Moo, Mike and them little brothers in them back in the day, I ain't trying to make that nigga look bad or something like that, because I was talking about how this one dude named Jock was roasting on him back in the day on his head and stuff. I ain't trying to make that dude look bad or nothing like that. A lot of lies been told, man. It fucks with me more than people will ever know. And I don't know. I think, man, fuck. I know a lot got told to me at the Regal Towers. Everybody know that shit. That shit ain't no secret. It's all over the fucking place. You could just see it in everybody's demeanor that when I was at that Regal Tower apartment. So I don't know who lied, what took place. I just know something scandalous had took place, yo. It was this white dude that me and my little cousin D. John was basically hooping with back in July 2024, right before I left and went to Cali. That was about it. We were just shooting around. We weren't even hooping for real. We were just shooting around and shit. I don't know if some type of lie got sparked up from him. I don't know what took place. I don't know, yo. I just know a bunch of lies got told and people been dubbing up on him. People was reaching out to people in other cities and from other cities and was telling people, yeah, tell this lie on this guy. They'll be in the same organization or the same clique and they'll be like, yeah, lie on this dude. So, yeah, back in 2002, 2003, man, we used to all hang out with each other. We used to all be on Granville, yo, like deep as fuck. And one time, it was for my sister. It was for my sister's birthday. It was me and my sister's birthday. My mom wanted to go see Bringing Down the House so bad, but me and Alicia went to go see another movie. We didn't go see Bringing Down the House. And I remember Marsha and Moo was like, man, please, man, we want to go too. We want to go too. And I was like, nah, man, like, can't, like, maybe some other time or something like that. Them niggas used to always come through because we used to always be playing a video game and shit. And I remember Mike was the first nigga in our neighborhood that had a kid at like the age of 12 or 13. Yo, he used to be talking to this one girl named Phyllis. All this shit coming back to mind. I had a dream one time back in 2023. It was this light-skinned girl that went to UPS. I said I went to Universal Public Schools back in the day, and I flunked the 6th grade. And the second time I came back in the 6th grade, it was this one light-skinned girl named Lavetta in there. I used to be like roasting with her and stuff like that. We used to be joking around and shit like that. One of my main friends back in that day was this dude named Aaron. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Anderson. And Emmanuel and Aaron, Emmanuel, and Donovan, yo. I think that nigga name was Donovan Durham or some shit like that. And Troy, this light-skinned dude named Troy. And I remember I got into like a little fight one time with this dude named Scott Bonner. It was another dude named Kevin I got into a little fight with, but I ain't even like fight him back. I just like let him. I'm just drifting off now. But I think I saw a vision one time of this girl Lavetta, yo, and I think I saw like her smiling at me. It looked like I think I saw a grown version of her like smiling at me and was looking at me with like googly eyes and stuff. So I don't know. I ain't seen that girl forever. I will say this though. Whatever has taken place, whatever messed up acts has taken place, yo, I don't know why everybody let this shit happen. Why anybody just come and talk to me directly? Why everybody let me get attacked and my family get attacked? Man, look, this is not a joke. I mean, people can look at the stuff I'm saying and then you ain't got no choice but to try to find a way to have a sense of humor about all this messed up stuff that's going on in this world. But ain't nothing cool about somebody possibly trying to bring harm to you or people getting cloned, and somebody could try to kidnap somebody that you know and then clone them and then convince everybody else that that's that person, but that don't be that person. Ain't nothing cool about that, yo. Like that's depressing, that's fucked up, that's sad, that's sad, that's dangerous, that's, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit that make you really, really, really say, you know, I just can't go by this shit like everybody else go by. That's why I ain't even gonna lie. I kind of sort of feel like I don't look at the police how I used to, yo. I look at them completely different because God blessed me with a certain kind of intuition. It's not like I'm not gonna base my intuition on amount. You know what I'm saying? I just got a certain kind of intuition to where sometimes a lot of shit go over my head. I don't see a whole lot of shit, but sometimes I actually see things. I actually peep shit out. And then I'll just pray and think about it, and I might have a dream about something. Like just the other day, I came clean to this one girl. Even though I said it 1,001 times on the video, I just said, "Hey, I lied on my dick back in the day." You know what I'm saying? Like a couple girls that I talked to back in Florida, I just came for it to say, "Hey, I lied on my dick back in the day." Like that's how bad I wanted you back in the day. Wasn't even lying. Even though I knew at some point in time the truth was gonna come out, I still was like, yeah. So I think about St. Christine and Gemma, you know, that dude Darius that was in our class though. I don't know, like it's some guy telling me about that dude. And there was another dude named Jordan, man. I think this nigga had a father that was a cop or something, or a sergeant, or I think that nigga did karate or some shit like that, or he did. I remember he was doing backwards flips in the bathroom and he said that he practiced karate or taekwondo or some shit like that. I remember this. And something real fucked up happened. The main reason when I first came back to the Regal Towers of this year, 2025, June 2025, God was telling me to leave. God told me to like go because what they doing, it's messed up. It ain't right. They still like, it's crazy how it actually be publicized what's going on and people still would be engaging in the scandalizing motherfucking slanderous sabotaging acts of trying to sabotage me and frame me, make up lies on me. So God just said go, and I'm still trying to figure out what all took place. God just said go, like I got this, you know what I'm saying? But that was one of the main reasons why I stayed my distance from Cam, yo, because I felt like too much weird shit has happened in the past. And I thought, honestly, that this nigga had something to do with, like, my cousin, something messed up happened to my cousin with Sean. I thought my other cousin, Shamar, had something to do with that. Then I left that alone because I was like, maybe I was wrong about that. And another thing, I feel like a lot of people has judged me in a fucked up way because of videos that I released in the past talking about certain babies that were a part of the 144,000 Israelites. I'm learning more now that God wanted me to be more patient because it's been times God talked to me with some people's birthdays or just some people in particular, but he was trying to get me to understand the whole bigger picture of what he wanted me to see and understand. And because I took things and ran with it, and I just thought that I had a purpose to just make a video and say, hey, that baby's a part of the 144,000 Israelites. You know what I'm saying? I should have waited more. I should have been more patient with God. But I didn't realize so many people was hating on me. And the only way that it's this many people hating on me is if it's somebody else that's trying to act like that they is some dude that's a part of the 144,000 Israelites. And whoever that nigga is probably somebody that I'm starting to think it was somebody that I went to school with way back in the day or some shit like that. But It's crazy, yo. I think about my cousin that I spoke on. Her birthday on June 7th, you know what I'm saying? And I know that's Allen Iverson's birthday also. And God been talking to me about that number 3 for a while. And when I watched this whole He Got Game movie just now, maybe God was telling me a lot. God told me on Schoolcraft in Granville back in the day. I don't know, yo. I try to process it all. And it's not easy because it take a lot of patience. It take a lot of just like, man, look, yesterday I heard a girl like crying and like in a mumbling way, like I really love you and all of that. And she was crying. And it, man, look, it bothered me a lot because it didn't sound like a cry of, it did not sound like a cry of like joyous love. It sounded like a cry of like somebody who in deep need of help. So when I talk like this, I believe it's a underworld that exists, and there's a lot of people looking at me, laughing at me. They think this shit is funny, yo. Like, they think this kind of stuff is funny for me to be talking about. I got family members that's been cloning. They possibly somewhere else. You know, do you know what that does to a man's mind, yo? Do you have any idea how much that fucking nigga mind up? Because my question is why? If something like that has happened, like, why would you do that? Why are you doing that? And then you got a lot of people who will try to manipulate me, right? Because it's some people saying, okay, I'm going to take that statement that he said right there and make him look like a conspiracy theorist. I'm going to make him look like he's mentally ill and bipolar. I'm going to take that statement right there. But I don't give a fuck about what I say. I can walk outside right now and say the earth is flat. You know what I'm saying? And if somebody put drugs in my food and then do something to me sexually assaulted in my sleep, the fact remains that I got sexually assaulted and drugged into a state of unresponsive unconsciousness. It don't take a forensics specialist to know that. It don't take a scientist. It don't take a doctor to know that. You know what I'm saying? It don't take somebody with 20/20 vision to see that. So I feel like people are trying to cling on to everything that I've stated in the past, and they still trying to convert it into some type of a stupid statement to furthermore justify something scandalous that possibly happened in the past or something. It bothers me a lot, yo. But I never had sex with that girl that I met that told me she stayed in Monticello, who gave me that basketball. I never had sex with her. I hit her up a couple times. I never engaged in sex with her, yo. Shit, she was grabbing on my shit. She was, hey, what's up? Like, we can get in the back of your car right now. I'm like, nah. So to be honest, I've been sitting there trying to figure out, like, I've been trying to figure out what God was telling me about that number, like the number 3 and all of that. It was something that happened in that movie, and I, to be honest, I just don't remember it no more. I just got done watching that movie, and I was just like, yo, a lot of this shit kind of fall in place. It's crazy. I was talking to my mom and my auntie in late September of this year of 2025, and I basically said, I made a statement, and I said, like, when Allen Iverson was in high school, it was a lot of people talking about him. You know what I'm saying? And I was basically saying somebody at some point in time probably had a conversation with him and said, when it comes to these ladies, make sure that you don't like get caught up and wear a condom and stuff like that. And the main reason why I was making that statement was because I talked to my auntie and what my mom, or I said my mom like she'd been cloned, but I basically said, I gave a story about this lady that was a housekeeper that walked into a hotel room and took a condom out of the trash, and then she impregnated herself with it because the man that was in that hotel room was a millionaire, and then she won on the case. I've gotten to the point where I don't even care about that shit no more. I just be more so focused on, like, man, what's going on with my mom and my sisters and all of that, and the people that I believe something like happened to. Because I've had dreams and visions. It's not like, it ain't like one day I just said, oh, you look different. No, I'm actually having dreams and visions, yo. So I think it's somebody that traced way back in high school days making up a lie about me, or even middle school or elementary school days making up lies about me. And another thing, I said when I was in St. George, South Carolina, one time I went to the Piggly Wiggly, yo. I swear I thought I saw this dude named Kenneth that was Shamar Williams' older brother. In 2023, I recorded a video. I believe this was like late 2023, and I talked about how everybody was talking about this dude William Haygood one day, right? We in music class or whatever, and I used to crack jokes about how I be fucking bitches and all of that, and messing with the hoes and messing with the bitches. I wasn't fucking with no bitches. I was a virgin. You know what I'm saying? But I used to just act a fool and stuff like that. William used to act a fool and talk like that one day also, at times also. But one day, somebody said like, AJ, remember William said that he had grabbed his dick or something, and in front of you and all of that other stuff. They took me out in the hallway, and Miss Siski asked me about that, and I was just like, she asked me, Miss Siski was like, did he show you his stuff or did he just like grab his stuff? And I was like, no, he ain't. I was like, no, we were just talking like that. Just I didn't say it how I'm about to say it right now. We used to just talk about how we be fucking bitches and stuff like that. But the way my teacher had asked me that question, I basically answered it like, I knew that she was basically trying to accuse William of doing something sexually assaulting, yo. And William was like, man, you lied on me, Al. And I was just sitting there like speechless, like, bro, it caught me off guard, dog. My bad, nigga. Like, I swear I wasn't trying to like fuck shit up or nothing like that. And I said way back in the day, hey, my apologies to that nigga. I never knew how that probably affected his relationship with his auntie Sally or anybody else. So when I saw that it was a lady that with that same name around 3rd Street at the Tiny Homes, yo, I was like, that lady told me that like one of the ladies there, like this girl named Trinity, was like having some affair or something. I ain't even about to like speak too much on it with one of the dudes that worked there or something like that. But she told, one day I was trying to wash my clothes. You know what I'm saying? On this particular day, I tried to wash my clothes. She said, you can't wash your clothes this day. A girl did, the girl Trinity. She said, you can't wash your clothes this day. And I'm like, don't nobody else even got to wash. Like, why don't you just let me wash? She was like, I'm telling you, you can't wash today. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, like, ain't no money coming out of y'all pocket. I can't just wash. You feel me? One time I walked to the store and grabbed like 2 big ass bottles of detergent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't keep that detergent for myself. One time I walked to the store and grabbed 2 big ass bottles of detergent. And then after I washed my clothes, yo, I take my shit out the dryer. I see a dirty ass white t-shirt. They took that shit out of the dryer and wiped it on the floor and then put it back in the dryer. And then I took my clothes in the room. I folded them. And then I saw that dirty ass white t-shirt and it was just standing out. It was obvious somebody wiped it on the floor. You know, even if you put a white t-shirt in a whole bunch of dark clothes, you can tell when the shit has been fucked with. So then, this is when I was in tiny home unit number 31. Then I leave the unit number 31 for a couple minutes, go grab me a bottle of water, come back, and then I grab my towel and my clothes that I was about to go and take into the bathroom to take a shower. I grab my clothes, go get in the shower, and a nugget of weed fall out my towel as soon as I basically go into the bathroom. So somebody planted some weed on me. Probably took a picture of it and said, yeah, he be smoking weed. So then I recorded a video in the bathroom showing that somebody just planted some weed on me. It was some weird shit going on there, yo. I got to the point where I went through so much like skeptical like situations that made me suspicious and skeptical. It was one time when I was at the testimonial shelter. When I first got to the LA Mission Shelter, July 12, 2024, I took a picture, a selfie on top of a building, and I had on a blue shirt that was a South Park t-shirt, the cartoon South Park. It had the characters Cartman, and I forgot all of the names that was on that shirt. I forgot all of the South Park characters. But then by the 18th of July 2024, they sent me to the testimonial shelter. It was some light-skinned girl walking around with that same color shirt on, yo. I started thinking maybe this girl making up a lie about me, dog. They probably trying to make it look like I'm engaging in sex with this lady or something like that. But then when I started seeing this gay dude walking around grinning and smiling at me and like recording people at nighttime, I was like, no, I think they using that gay man to lie on me, yo. There's a lot of messed up stuff. God bless to everybody, yo. A lot got told somewhere down the line, though. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I like need to include before I get off this phone, man. But yeah, whenever I had my own apartment, whenever I had my own shit, yo, a lot of these ladies that I used to have sex with, they willingly had sex. You know what I'm saying? I never forced myself on any of them because it make me mad when I think about all the stuff, all the lies that was told in the past. And these went, man, dog. Girls used to run around the house with their titties out. They used to take pictures with my guns with their titties out and stuff like that. I'll be in the middle of watching a movie. They'll just start giving me some head or something and be doing all silly shit. Like, I remember this, yo. To be honest, I'll be missing that shit, too. I'll be missing them days of just having my own shit. But I'm getting all my stuff right together the right way and stuff. But I'll be missing them days of getting high and drunk and just partying and having sex. So yeah, yo. I'm done talking, man. To be honest, I'm stressing. 6:38 p.m. It's 6:38 p.m. November 20th, 2025, man. God bless to everybody. And all those ladies, I'm gonna just say this one more time. All those ladies that was at my place back in the day, all them ladies was over the age of 18, yo. But I think that one girl who stayed in Lehigh back in the day probably made up a lie about me when she told me to go into her apartment. Go into her home, and she said she'll pull up in a minute. I got out and I had my gun on me, but she pulled up later on, and we had sex a few times after that, you know, and that was it, yo. But God bless to everybody, yo. Man, somebody got to tell me something at some point, though. I'm just staying focused and trying to stay close to God. I saw an angelic sight last night, too, yo.